Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is the podcast made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers, such as our guest today, Miss Lauren Krawczyk. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. How are you?
It's good to have you on the show.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no doubt. If you guys might know Lauren from a feature in Tampa Bay Real Producers, I should have had that on me, but I think we just featured you a couple of months ago now.
November.
It was the November issue of 2023. So we featured Lauren as one of the team leaders. If you wanted to check out that spotlight, which you can find on our website, tampabayrealproducers.com. And we had a nice spread done on Lauren and her squad. And we actually had you at our Christmas party. I know you just popped by and were able to grab that framed gift that we had for you there. So let's dive in a little bit, Lauren, to your story and your background, and for people who might not know you as well. So did you grow up around here? How did you get to Tampa, if not?
No, I keep moving south. So, and I think I'm done, but I'm originally from South Carolina.
Cool.
Small town Camden, which if you know about it, then you know South Carolina.
East side, west side?
Northeast of, about an hour northeast of Columbia. Okay. So I grew up riding horses. We had 13. We had a big 98-acre farm, and that's kind of how I grew up.
There you go. I literally was just driving through South Carolina Wednesday because we were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and we took 26 back.
Yep.
So drove all the way through Columbia and all that area, and there is a lot of land over there, so I can see where the horse ranch would fit in.
Yep. And I went to high school there. Fun driving back and forth an hour each way to high school, but to Columbia. So, and then I went to University of South Carolina. Nice. Studied fashion merchandising. And
that's where the boots come in.
Right. Yeah. And everything else. I'm actually very muted today, believe it or not.
Fashionista for sure, no doubt.
I have what we call a shopping problem. But
so did you want to go into fashion as your business?
I did, and then it kind of evolved into me being in more of business management. After college, I was working for a local boutique, and then did the after college everything, bartending for a while. And then just kind of everything I've kind of done in my life is just kind of who I've met, and it's just kind of fallen into place.
Sure.
So I wasn't really actively looking. I was actually recruited to move down to Jacksonville. I was about 24 years old, and ended up working for a commercial real estate company, mom and pop, but they had like 100 shopping centers. Started in property management, ended up in the leasing office, and then did that for a few years.
Cool.
So.
Did you enjoy the commercial side?
I did. And, obviously when the market went really south, I ended up leaving and going back to retail. So I did high-end retail for a number of years, and then...
That was in Jacksonville?
That was in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ended up meeting my husband at work at the commercial site. He builds shopping centers and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then, long story short, we ended up moving here for his job. I managed if anybody in St. Pete knows, the shop. That's where most
of course.
People know
Everyone
me.
knows the shop if you're a St. Pete person.
Yeah, I think that's where I got to meet.
Did your husband help build that?
No.
Okay.
So, but I was, I just kind of found the job there and worked there for about 3 years, managed that.
Okay.
And that's where I know pretty much everybody in town.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
that's a hot spot around there for sure.
Yep.
And Lauren, if we didn't mention it before, is a team leader with Douglas Elliman.
Yep.
Which, if you know anything about St. Pete real estate, it's a pretty big name and a big brand, especially right off of Beach Drive. Right down there. So
great spot.
We'll talk about that connection. Douglas Elliman headquarters is New York, right?
Yes.
The city.
Yes, New York City. They started there in 1911.
Yeah.
If you don't know Douglas Elliman per se, the name, I know it's kind of new to this market. We're their first West Coast location. Obviously, everyone knows $1 Million Listing.
Sure.
So that's where the name, that's where I learned about it, to be honest. But it's been a great company and absolutely love it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. So you came to Tampa because your husband's business was taking you guys here.
Yep.
And he's still in that business today?
He is. He does hospital remodels and stuff like that.
Cool.
So he's in that commercial building. So when people are like, oh, well, your husband's in building, I'm like, yeah, well, it's different from residential. So
yeah, it makes sense. And there is a lot of differences between that commercial space world, as you know, and the residential side. Yeah. So when you came to St. Pete directly?
We lived in Dunedin for a year, and then I was working at the shop, and then we moved down to St. Pete in Kenwood originally. We lived there for about 6 years. And
Gotcha.
Just moved in 2018. So.
And what made you want to get your real estate license?
I always wanted to I loved the commercial side. honestly never thought I'd be in the residential side. I was, approached and it ended up working for a top broker and worked with her for many years. She was my mentor.
Was that Bonnie? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. And it just kind of evolved, and I love it. It's just a totally different side of things, and I don't know. I think for me it feels a little more, I don't know how to say, heartfelt, where you just, you really get into people's lives.
No doubt.
And it's funny how
the biggest
much
investment most people make, right?
it is, and I don't think people realize the amount of time that you spend with families and couples, or helping somebody move. You really are kind of in their life. There's every now and then I'll have a closing and they'll text me like, I haven't talked to you in like 2 weeks. I'm like, I know, this is so weird, we've been talking 6 times a day for like 4 months. So
that's cool.
I love that aspect about it. So
no, it makes sense. And you seem like a good fit for like luxury real estate. You got that vibe to you. I could see how that would work, especially in that area and that market.
I moved to Florida and I have very thin hair, so I had to cut all my hair off. It's too humid here. It's too hot. So, and I'm committed because I can't ever grow this out because it's going to look real bad. So it is.
It works for you.
It
works for you, no doubt. So you came to St. Pete. I know at the time, I guess it was the Strickland Group, right? Those of you who know that story, Strickland Group became Douglas Elliman. Back in 2019, I think we said off camera, and so did you dive right into like the luxury market? Was that your niche, or how did things evolve with you in your first year of real estate versus where you are today? You're a team leader now, so we'll talk about that.
Sure.
I'm assuming you weren't building a team immediately.
No, God, no.
So what was that first kind of year like for you to kind of get traction?
The first year was a lot of shadowing and asking questions and volunteering to do, because I didn't know a single thing about residential. So it was like, I had some great teammates that allowed me to shadow them, and it's like, I'll do your inspection. Let me watch this, or let me hang your. Oh, God bless. Let me hang your sign.
Smack mics all you want. It's all good.
You can tell I'm part Italian. I'm very animated. But it's like, let me hang your sign for you. How do you do this? How do you do that? So I mean, the first year, really, I didn't sell anything. I think I had one sale the first year in 2014, and it almost got to a point where it's like, oh God, am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And then it just, I don't know, at that moment, it was just like I had the one listing in Shore Acres, and sold that. And then it just started kind of evolving through that.
Was it pretty organically through referrals that things started taking off?
And at the time, Bonnie at the time was very good to me, and
providing leads.
Yes, and training me and things like that.
Isn't there another gentleman? Is it Jim?
Jim, yep.
Yeah, I know he's also been a top producer over there.
Yes, and definitely a mentor of mine as well.
Very cool.
So it was a great group of people, and it was just, but it was hard for the first year. I mean, it just, I tell people some of the best advice I was given was, save everything, because I did not realize how much it takes, I think, to start in real estate monetarily. You kind of don't hear that, you know. You see these shows and everyone's like, oh, all these big sales and stuff. It's a grind, and
no doubt.
You really have to. I tell people when they ask me, I'm like, save a lot before you start. So that was kind of one of the things.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, would that, if you've done that well, would you say that a lot of that is going towards marketing and just how to get that name out there?
Yeah, I think marketing, networking is something that I, love to do. But
which is effective, but that takes time.
It does.
Yeah.
And going back to your question about luxury, it just kind of started. My first over $1 million sale was in Euclid, and it ended up being it was a beautiful home, but it was a one of a kind. And, that appraisal I was sweating that one, but no, that ended up being the first over $1 million sale in the history of Euclid. And then ever since then, it just, it just kind of came naturally.
Has that become kind of a niche for you, that neighborhood area?
I would say anywhere downtown St. Pete, any South Pinellas, really. I live in Snell, used to live in Kenwood. I love downtown St. Pete, so I always joke, I don't like to cook, so my husband and I don't have children, so it's like we're all downtown all the time. I can tell you every restaurant about anything.
We were just at the Canopy last night.
Yep, it's a great spot.
We had our MVP social there last night, gave away a couple frames, as you know, so that's always a great spot. We've been there a bunch of times for different events.
Yeah,
no doubt. Beach Drive is fun.
It's fun. And even just, I tell people some of my favorite spots are like the 600 block of Central and Grand Central District. I mean, there's just so much. And our city is so unique and amazing that
It's changed a lot over the years.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I remember when I went to UT, I graduated, aged myself back in 2003. And when we used to go to St. Pete, not very much because there really wasn't much to do, in St. Pete. Tampa had a different scene to it. And boy, it changed a lot over the last 20 years.
I mean, it's changed since I moved in. I'm trying to think. Even the last 5 years. I mean, it's when we first moved to Kenwood, it was basically Ferg's and a couple little bars, and that was it.
Right.
I mean, there was nothing there, and now it's just it's one of my favorite areas to be in.
Yeah, it is cool.
Grand
I love
Central.
St. Pete too. There's a lot going on over there for sure.
So
have you found now, Lauren, that your niche is fairly in the luxury space, or is that not really true for you? It is.
No, it is.
Yeah. Because I know your numbers, just to throw it out there, you did over 30 million last year for what we saw anyway, and that might not be completely accurate, but based on what was reported on the MLS from what we saw in 2023, you did over 30 million, averaging over $1 million per transaction. So there seems to be a luxury focus there that's worked for you.
There is. Most of my business, 97% of my business is through referral.
Yeah.
So I think that's what keeps it. But I don't like to limit myself to that because, you have clients that may have children that are looking, for a first-time home buyer and stuff like that. So,
no doubt.
Yes, that is kind of my thing. But I always joke, I'll sell anything.
Yeah.
So
is it a lot of the downtown stuff in St. Pete? Have you had a good experience working that area, or are there more single family like homes in certain neighborhoods that work?
I mean, I would say like Old Northeast, Snell Isle.
You said you live in Snell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenwood, Euclid Crescent, that whole area, and then Gulfport, Pasadena Yacht and Country Club, and I would also say like St. Pete Beach.
Got it.
It's kind of been the last 3 years.
Was it a focus of yours to try to get into luxury as a niche?
Yes.
It was.
It
so
was.
you wanted that from the beginning.
I did.
Okay.
And it's not easy to crack into, but the people I worked with, I think
that's what their niche was. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So it just kind of I kind of came into it from that. So
when I don't know if you remember this, we did a casino night at one of Jim's listings.
Yes, I was there.
You were there. So that was years ago. That was like the first year we started, I think, with Real Producers, 2019. And that was a beautiful home.
Yep.
I think that was in
Bayou
Shore
Grande.
Acres, I want to say, wasn't it?
It was off Bayou Grande.
Bayou Grande.
Yep.
Okay. And it was a gorgeous listing, and you guys were very gracious to kind of allow us to use it as a venue for one of our casino night parties. And so that... I guess that home hopefully sold soon after that.
It did, yes. The next day. No, it did. It did sell soon after that, yes.
That's cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, can you give any thoughts to maybe there's agents out there who have had an interest, maybe they're up and coming and want to get into luxury the way you have, and you've obviously made it successful for you. Are there certain distinctions in your mind between getting into luxury real estate versus traditional real estate that you think are different, whether it's buyer-seller differences, something just specifically about the market that's different? Anything come to mind that you think would be worth, flushing out?
I would say initially it's just, having the confidence. I think even if you don't fake it till you make it, but I think having the confidence when you are talking to a client that you really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Having a little bit
more distinguished buyers and sellers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of them have been Fortune 500 CEOs and things like that. And, they're very, I guess, information driven. So really knowing your information is just absolutely key.
About the property or about the neighborhood or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, and also knowing, what you can bring to the table for them, because a lot of these, they want international views, they want the best of the best. So it's understanding what your value is to them, like showing your value, I think is extremely important.
That makes a lot of sense. And they have certain expectations too.
Absolutely.
Right? It's generally going to have a higher expectation on service, on what they expect you to do, especially if it's a listing, right?
Even if it's a buyer. I mean, our team we say soup to nuts. I mean, we don't use lockboxes. We are there. I mean, we sweep floors. We pick up dogs. I've even dropped clients off, to appointments. It's like we are concierge service through and through.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of expectation for that as well. Constant communication. I mean, I'd like to say I have a work-life balance. I don't.
It's like the servant heart has to kind of take
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, you've got to be there for them. And, and I think when they see that you really truly care and it's not just about the sale, I think it makes a big connection. So,
especially if you're going to base your business on referrals the way that you have,
Yes.
I'm imagining that they have to have that experience in order to be comfortable dropping your name to that next network connection that they have.
It really is an honor every time that happens because you've done something well, you've done it right, and you've kept a relationship. I mean, your reputation is everything.
No doubt.
And it's a lot harder. I mean, same as in retail back in the day when I was managing Anthropology. It was, it takes one complaint, and then it takes about 75 positives to get over that one complaint.
Yeah.
So
and sadly, when people are satisfied, they don't usually comment about it, right? But when they're
they
not,
don't.
that's when you hear about it.
Yeah, they don't. But I think when they're satisfied, it's the referral is that.
Yes. Yeah.
We are happy with you. So
no doubt.
Yes. So.
What types of buyers and sellers do you normally work with? Are they like out of town business professionals that are looking to move to this market, or do you work with investors? What's it look like for you?
It's a mix. I don't necessarily. There are some members on the team that work more with investors. I typically don't. It's interesting. I've watched ever since COVID. My business changed from a lot more out of town buyers. I mean, I had a whole group from, I swear, a whole community of Pennsylvania moved all at the same time. They're all friends, But, it's a lot. I'm 41.
Don't look a day over 30.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. But I think also, I have a lot of clients that are, moving up or, depending on age. I think part of the business is, the age that you are too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
who your network is.
Right. And so, we have I have a lot of clients that they're changing to, a different size house because of kids and family and stuff, or downsizing because of, so I feel like when you're depending too, it's just kind of where you are in your life is kind of who you surround yourself with. And that's kind of how it comes.
That makes sense. Was this past year, the numbers I threw out earlier, was that one of your better years, or what's been your best year in real estate? Do you know?
That was last year was,
which is great because a lot of people struggled last year with 2023, and you seem to not have. I'm sure you had your own struggles.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't all just rainbows and unicorns. I'm sure.
No, God no.
But hey, you had a great year in 2023. I don't know if you knew this, but you were top 100 in all of Tampa Bay with those numbers. So you're going to be seeing, by the way, on Monday, I think it is. We have badges coming out to all of our top 500, and you'll see them segmented by certain groups, and you're going to be getting one. So you'll get it in an email on Monday. But congrats on a great year. It was very solid to see what you've done.
The team, honestly, I think everybody on the team had their best year. I mean, it's and as a team, we had our best year.
Yeah, let's talk about the team. So at some point, you transitioned from being an individual producer to wanting to grow a team. Yeah. Was that always the goal too from the beginning, or did that evolve?
That evolved.
Okay.
That evolved. I think, and again, just it evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started just wanting to.
Do you find that more fulfilling,
I do.
Working on the team side?
I'm a very, if you can't tell, gregarious, collaborative person.
Sure.
I know agents that love to work on their own. It's just not my personality.
Yeah.
I love being able to bounce ideas off of people, and I feed off people's energy, and the people that are on our team, we've worked together forever.
Nice.
And it's a great group, and we're friends. It's sometimes you butt heads, but we love each other. So
you have 7 agents, I think you said.
There's 7 of us. Yeah.
Okay. And are they what's the mix of that group? Were they newer agents that you brought in? Were they people that were already with other brokerages, other teams?
So we've all kind of been a team, and we just never split. So when we were acquired by Douglas Elliman, we all remained on the original team.
So a lot of these are original people, even all the way back from the Strickland Group.
All of them.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So
very cool.
And it's interesting. Jim had been a realtor prior to.
Yeah. So Jim's on your team.
Yes.
Does he also have his own team or no?
Yes. Well, he's starting on his own team.
He is.
So,
okay.
Yeah. But I think the rest of us were new agents.
And who's the broker over there now in your office?
Her name's Michelle.
Michelle. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I've met her yet.
She's phenomenal.
Okay. I look forward to meeting her one day. I know I loved Megan, and I know she's not there any longer, but shout out to Megan as well. But
yes, love Megan too.
Yes, no doubt. Megan Lacomb's doing her thing. So Michelle is your broker, and do you have other teams within your office other than yourself, your team?
I'm trying to think. Oh God. Yes, there are a couple other teams, smaller. One team, I know they're more out in Odessa, and then we've got more in Tampa. So we call ourselves the OGs.
The OGs, that makes sense.
OGs.
Now there is a Douglas Elliman in Tampa now, correct?
Moving to Tampa. We actually officially in Sarasota.
Okay.
Just about a month and a half ago. So Like I said, we were the first West Coast office.
Yep.
So we went basically St. Pete, Naples, Sarasota, and then Tampa's coming. So
was it hard for you at all during that transition from Strickland Group to Douglas Elliman? Like different systems, different programs. Was it fairly seamless for you? Or
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but
Yeah.
Any transition, I feel like
Sure.
if anyone's acquired, I think it's just different because we kind of did our own thing, and now you're joining a big company.
right?
But I have to say, I'm glad it was that company because we're not franchised. So it's a very different feel. I mean, I've traveled all on the East Coast. I've traveled, New York, California, Colorado, everywhere that Douglas Elliman is located. And
Yeah.
they're only specific markets. We're
Yeah.
not going to be in, just every market.
Right.
That's not their goal. But it's just a different feel being in those offices. It's hard to explain, but I just love the agents that are there.
And their brand, I think, is somewhat affiliated with luxury,
Yes.
right? Like luxury real estate. So that's I'm assuming a purposeful thing that
Absolutely.
they've done is want to brand themselves that way, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like I said, they're they're in the hot luxury markets.
Yeah.
Their goal is not to have a bunch of offices. They want specific targeted areas. So, I always kind of say it was an honor for us to
Yeah. I
be
think
acquired.
they picked a great market. St. Pete,
God, yeah.
obviously is up and coming, and it has a lot of luxury neighborhoods, and a lot of that,
Yep.
a lot of money has been flowed there,
I think people
even
are
on the
sticker
commercial
shocked.
side.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think people are sticker shocked sometimes when they, come here because they remember St. Pete being the sleepy old town.
Yeah,
And then,
not that any longer.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, I want this and this. I'm like, ooh, well, that doesn't exist.
Yes,
So,
right.
So driving them around, they're like, okay, we get it, Or golf
I
cart.
remember years ago when I was deciding what neighborhood we were going to do my first product. So Real Producers, those of you who don't know, is a national franchise, and one of the products of the franchise is now called Stroll, which was a neighborhood product. And I didn't know anything about St. Pete at the time, and I was driving through, and I stumbled into Snell Isle. And I drove through Brightwaters Boulevard. I was like, this is the neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to open up our first magazine.
Good call.
That was back in 2012. And thankfully, it Bonnie actually was one of the people that helped support us. And and Snell Isle grew, and now it's still kicking today. Shout out to Lindsay. She's doing a heck of a job running it over there. And then eventually that led to what Real Producers became. So it's that St. Pete market has a special place for me because that's where I started with this franchise with Snell Isle, then Tierra Verde. And then even when I launched Real Producers, our first couple agents we featured were a lot of times focused out of St. Pete because that's where a lot of my relationships were.
Yeah.
So it was cool to kind of serve that community as best as we possibly could, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about some personal questions for people who might not know you that well. I know you mentioned you're married, no children yet. Do you want kids or no?
No.
No kids. All right.
I have two dogs.
Too busy jamming, huh? You got dogs? There you go.
Oh, God, I've got two Cheweenies.
You got your fur babies. I get
I got
it.
the fur babies, the fur kids.
What do you guys love to do for fun when you're not, working so hard in real estate?
To be honest, we're out and about in St. Pete. Whatever events are happening, anything like that. I love being outside.
Are you water people?
Yes, we're not boaters quite yet because my husband wants a boat. It's a thing, but don't have the time right now. So we have friends with boats.
Sure.
But
that's much easier to maintain anyway.
I joke I'm the beach person. Like I love being at the beach. He likes to be by the pool, with a cocktail, that kind of deal.
Yes.
But no, I love running. Used to run long distance a long time ago in Jacksonville and just for fun. I'm weird, and I love CrossFitting.
Well, if you're going to run, that whole Brightwaters area is pretty sweet.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Go through Vinoy Park if you need to,
the whole way down through the pier, everything. Yeah. It's amazing. But yeah, I mean, just there's nothing really specific, but just honestly, being around downtown is just kind of like our thing.
No doubt. Yeah, I like going to Fresco's every now and again. That little restaurant down there, and then they did a great job with the pier redevelopment and
I mean it's great.
Everything down in that area.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's great scenery. St. Pete is just such a unique spot with all the waterfront parks and everything. It's unlike any other city in Florida.
Is there anything new that you know of going on in St. Pete coming in the near future that you think people should know about?
Ooh, I don't. Now you're putting me on the spot.
I wasn't sure if there was. I know that they've had a lot of new stuff recently with the pier development.
Obviously, pier development and the trop development and all that everybody knows about. I don't know. I think, there's more there's just more businesses coming every day, more restaurants and things like that. So I'm always on like St. Pete Rising, just looking at what's new, and we see something, we go for it and try it. So
what gets you fired up when you think about your goals for this year, 2024, and then even beyond? Are there whether it's team-based goals that you're focused on that, or even personal production? As a team leader, you still do your own personal production, right?
Yes, I do.
So what are some things that you get excited about when you think about the future?
Well, I'm a very competitive person by nature. I used to ride on the equestrian team in South Carolina. So, I mean, my family used to joke, they're like, you can make anything into a competition. I'm more competitive, I think, with myself. So every year is just pushing to do a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better.
Cool.
Realistically, I mean,
So
you
got to
can't
beat 30 this year, huh?
Yes.
Is that the goal?
always.
On pace? Off to a good start?
Off to a good start. It was interesting. A lot of people, and I'm always very honest. I don't like to, when people really ask you about the market, they really want to know. They don't want the sugarcoat, whatever, but they don't want the doom and gloom. But, November was a little weird. The rates kind of shook things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I noticed, end of December, January really started picking up again. I think people are chilling out. It's the doom and gloom of news media. Sometimes it's not helpful.
Right.
But I think if you're just very honest with people.
But it gets clicks. That's why they do it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So a couple rapid fire questions just for people to get to know you a little bit. So do you have a favorite book or author, seminar maybe that you've attended that you feel like has made an impact on you?
My dad gave me this when I was in high school, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's
it's my
classic.
favorite book. I will read that every now and then, or just snippets, just because. So, that's my favorite. I mean, I read all the. I'm a
very relatable to real estate.
It is.
The topics that are taught in that book in terms of how to connect with somebody. I would imagine in the real estate world that would be pretty important.
It is, and I've given it to friends, family. I think it's just a book everybody needs to read. But
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, I joke I'm a big nerd, so I read all the time. Like I love any type of reading. If someone just hands me a book, I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Do you have a favorite author or no?
Weirdly, Jane Austen.
Oh, okay.
So.
Never read any of her stuff.
Emma, Pride and Prejudice, old stuff. Old school stuff.
Cool.
So.
I like it. Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
Let's see. TV show. I don't know. I watch too much. I watch a lot of Bravo. So.
Fashionista side again, huh?
I mean, well, yeah, and Vanderpump Rules started again. So, I've shamefully admitted that on a podcast. I don't know. I love comedy, like old comedy.
Yeah.
So I grew up with like Mel Brooks movies or,
Gotcha.
That kind of stuff. So anything ridiculously silly, I like. I joke, I cry in everything. I cried in The Lion King when it came out.
Who didn't? I mean, come on.
Right?
When Mufasa dies,
I know.
It's a tear breaker.
So, and I don't like scary movies. So it's more like a comedy type thing. It's just what I
hear you. Yeah, I'm more of the light movie myself.
Yeah.
I'm not a horror flick type of dude.
No.
Now, do you miss living on the farm life at all? South Carolina? St. Pete, Snell Isle is not exactly farm life, a little different.
When I go home, I get to horseback ride. My mom lives in Camden still. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's a part of me that'll miss it, but no, I'm not. You're going to have to drag me out of
You like the
St.
city
Pete.
life of St. Pete now, huh?
I've always kind of, even when I was younger, was just wanting a little bit different. Just because I think a lot of people are like opposite. I know I have friends that are like, I just want to live out in the mountains in like a camper. And
right.
I'm like, ooh, yeah, I can't do that.
That's not my wife either. No, she's, she likes the spotlight.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, and
do you think St. Pete's home for you? Is that home base?
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I mean, you can't ever say never, but but I do hope so. I love the city so much, so I do hope so.
Cool. A lot of stuff that your husband does, is that based out of St. Pete a lot now still?
He travels a little bit more, so like Cape Coral, more on the West Coast, but like Cape Coral, it just kind of depends. But Orlando area, he's been in a lot, so because that's just growing so much. You know? So.
For you personally or your team, do you have other markets outside of Tampa Bay that you guys serve on a regular basis, or not really?
Not really. Okay. We are. We'll definitely refer out. You know, I have that mindset. It's like just
be a master of your niche. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I think obviously there's sometimes where there's a one-off. But usually I'll partner, or somebody will partner with somebody else in that market. Yeah. But I would say just be the best in your area.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite food?
Yes, pimento cheese.
Oh, cheese gal.
Well, pimento cheese being from South Carolina.
Is there a spot in St. Pete that serves it well?
So no.
Can't find one, huh?
No. So what happened is that, I just couldn't find what I needed. So I started making it. And now all my friends are like completely addicted. Like, when are you going to make it?
Oh,
so
look at that.
It's my own recipe.
There's like a dinner party, you're invited over and they know what you're bringing?
Yes, because I'm a terrible cook, but I can make some great pimento cheese. And
Nice.
I will not give out my recipe ever.
Nice.
So.
Hey, I might have a request for a real producer event. We have to pull some of that together. You can't go wrong with good cheese.
I call it the
sure.
caviar of the South. So
that works.
Yeah.
I love it. So, all right, I'll put a bow on the episode here for you with two things. Okay. If somebody wants to reach out to you and connect with you, Lauren, whether it be obviously St. Pete based, you're very knowledgeable, of course, about that market, or just luxury real estate in general. What's the best way for someone to reach you? You can talk to the camera here if you want.
I would just say, just call or text me on my cell. Do I need to give my number out?
You can. Yeah.
904, still that Jacksonville number, 904-537-6318. I'd give my email, but my last name is so ridiculous. I have to spell it 5 times.
You gotta spell it out. I hear you.
It's on screen.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
okay,
we'll post it for you.
Yeah, you can see my maiden name was Brown. So, I love my husband, obviously, because I kept it. So,
What's the nationality?
Polish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're Italian, you said?
Well, I'm a mix. I'm Polish, Ukrainian, blah, blah, blah. It's a
Nice.
mix of everything.
Yeah, my wife's actually half Polish, half Italian. So you guys have a little bit in common, I guess, with that. And the same name, so that works too. And so here's one of my last questions I always like asking is about our legacies and thinking about what you'd want to be remembered for. So when you do think about that and you're sitting maybe at your parents' farm ranch up in Carolina, or you're sitting in Brightwaters looking at or sitting in your case looking on the beach somewhere. What do you think would be most important to you, Lauren, as far as what you'd want to be remembered for most, whether that's personally or professionally?
I would say it's a little mix of both. Like, every time I meet somebody, I want someone to have a good feeling when I leave, or a good experience with me. So I just want to be, just remembered as someone they're like, yeah, you know what? She was awesome. Like, you could feel good energy. And that's just kind of, how I live day to day. I just like to have people feel good when they're around.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, that was accomplished today. I think you did a great job. Yeah, no doubt. Your energy is contagious, no doubt. And it even shows with your boots and, your whole presence when you walked in here.
I have Canvas.
I think you lit it up. Oh, yeah? That's a little shout out to Canvas. Those are some nice boots, by the way. We got to get a close-up on those boots, Rob, whenever you get a chance, all right? So, Lauren, it was great to have you here.
Thank you.
We always end our episodes with a challenge to the audience, whether you're watching us live on any of our platforms or you're, hopefully, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Tampa Bay Real Producers podcast. You can just click the button, and that way you'll get notified when new episodes drop, which we drop every week. Every Friday is a new episode. You'll see Lauren's episode drop if you're not watching us live right now. And, there's got to be something that you can take if you took the time to watch this episode that you can take as an action step to be able to move forward personally or professionally. Maybe you're an agent who wants to get into luxury and you need to just kind of ask some questions or learn from someone like Lauren. You heard her mention that her first year was a challenge, and I think that's normal, especially if you want to get into the luxury niche. It's not easy for most people to just dive into. So maybe there's somebody you have to pick her brain and ask some questions there. Maybe you need to find a team that can help you, just like Lauren was able to do. Maybe you're somebody who might want to talk to Lauren about being a part of her team and learning more about what that would look like, or doing your research on Douglas Elliman, or whatever the case may be, or maybe picking up the author of the book that she mentioned. There's all kinds of different topics that we dove into. But what is one action step that you can take that's going to help move you forward? And if you do that, then this time was worth it. And we, of course, will see you on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. Stay classy, and we'll see you then. Bye.